My name is Leah. I'm from UKTI at the British Embassy in Stockholm. I'm having a bit of an issue with the microphone. Apparently I have a child-sized face, so hopefully you can hear me okay. And this is my colleague Nina.
Hi.
From UKTI in Finland.
That's right, thank you.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about exporting to our Nordic markets. We've recently launched the Nordic Baltic network, so it's an initiative to start working closely across the region. Here's the countries, as you can see. We're also working closely with Estonia, Latvia, and the Baltic countries. So there's a cute little map of where we are. So the Swedish market is both centralized and it's very fragmented at the same time. So there's a couple of very large players that dominate the market, but then also there's many one-off boutiques that will focus on giftware. So it makes it slightly complicated because you might want to focus on having a distributor that can blanket the market and focus on the smaller retail shops. It's most important to remember that Scandinavian design is extremely strong. With that said, Swedes tend to gravitate towards products that are clean designed, white colors, neutral colors, light colors. So that's a very important driver of trends in Scandinavia, or especially in Sweden. Swedes typically have higher disposable incomes. People oftentimes wait until they're a little bit older to have children, which means that they have more often than not a little bit extra money to spend on products for their children, etc. Important domestic luxury brands include Flipperkoa, Y-Red, and Rödbeer, and they follow very closely the Scandinavian design aesthetic. So if you're interested to learn a little bit more about the types of designs that work well in Scandinavia, I would recommend checking out those brands. Luxury high-end products are purchased in boutiques or in one of the few department stores in Sweden. So the few department stores include Pub, NK, and Åhléns City. Åhléns is quite an interesting company and an interesting store because they have their city center, Åhléns, which has lots of high-end luxury products. But the smaller stores in the suburbs have different ranges based on the demographic that lives in those areas. And all of these mostly operate on a concession basis, so they do the store-in-store format. It's really popular in Sweden to have an upper mid-market segment of affordable luxury, we say. So you can see, for instance, H&M is building up this affordable luxury brand through their stores such as Schothorst and other stores. So Swedes spend their money a little bit differently than maybe in some other of the BRIC countries. You don't see as many people spending so much money on the Mulberries and the Burberrys. It's more focused on affordable luxury, and then also mixing a little bit of really high-end products with a 20 kroner t-shirt from H&M or something. So you see that kind of mixture. It's really important that successful products, they will have a USP. Swedes are trend savvy, but they also want something that's unique and it's different and it fills a certain niche in the market. With that said, good quality is expected even for lower ranges or lower price ranges. And like I said, some strong domestic players are H&M, and you see that they're starting to build up daughter brands such as Kos and etc. It's really important that you have a strong brand image and you're very clear with what your product is and where it can fit into the gaps in the market. Swedes typically have a very strong correlation with British products and them being quality, and Swedes understand Britain as a brand and what Britain has to offer in terms of their products. Buyers look at price quality correlation when they look to buy things. I don't think that's anything that's any different than any other market. If you're exporting to other markets, that's typically what they look for. Just a little side note, Swedes don't really dress that formally. So when you go to a business meeting, it's not uncommon to have CEOs of massive Fortune 500 companies wearing really nice jeans and a blazer. So people usually shop to fill both of those types of environments. So this is kind of a little interesting note that I have here at the bottom. Sometimes there's a little bit of difficulty around products that are produced in Asian countries, simply because some Swedish importers would prefer to work directly with the manufacturer. just to remove one link in the supply chain, and products will then be a little bit less expensive, etc. So if your product is produced in an Asian country, it really should have a really strong selling point, a really unique selling point. Otherwise, it can be replicated, and it's a little bit difficult to get into market. So the market for Swedish giftware is generally a little bit less developed than in the UK. We have a little bit different culture around giving greeting cards. So a greeting card will be given maybe in correlation with a gift. So it'll be given together with a bouquet of flowers for a birthday, or maybe a bottle of champagne. Gift cards or greeting cards are also given a lot at Christmas time, which is a very similar kind of culture to the UK, I believe. Party items are usually purchased online or in one of the few stores in Sweden that sells party items. It's kind of a growing area, and you see more often every year that Halloween, for instance, and fancy dress parties are becoming more and more popular every year. Let's see, what else do I have to talk about? We're experiencing in Sweden a baby boom right now. So there's lots of families that are having children, and you can see in urban areas in Stockholm, a pregnant person, every other person, it seems like they're pregnant or pushing a pram. So there's definitely growth in the market for high quality baby products. And like I said earlier, Swedes do tend to have children a little bit later in life. For instance, the average age in one of the poshest neighborhoods in Stockholm to have a child is 38. For the first child, yep. But the average age throughout the whole of the country is 29. So you can see the kind of discrepancies between urban areas and rural areas. So like I said earlier, good design is paramount. Did I already go? Okay, so this is one of the stores that I think is really important for people working in the giftware industry, because this is called Designtoriet, and it is one of the most popular places for Swedes to buy their giftware. So you can see a little bit of the different ranges that they have. It's very design focused, cool kind of niche-y products that you couldn't maybe find anywhere else. So if you are interested to see what sort of products are popular in Sweden, I would recommend checking out this website and having a click around to see what's popular. So here's just a couple market statistics. This is super boring, but Sweden has fared really well throughout the global economic crisis, which makes it a really popular destination to trade with. So for 2014, we're expecting some GDP growth of about 2%, and it's been pretty steady. So retail sales are up, mostly in consumables. Durables are not quite up as much, but it's kind of boring, but good to note. So now I'll hand it over to Nina, and she'll talk about Finland.
Thank you very much. So for Finland, the retail sector has grown a lot during the past 15 years. Disposable income has risen as well, which is great. And then our location as well between Russia and the Nordic Baltic countries is quite interesting. And well, the Arctic soon, but that would be more for maybe logistics than for giftware. You never know. Shipping over to China in the future. And Finland offers an excellent infrastructure, I would say. And it's a safe business environment. And high quality of human capital. And with safe, I would say, well, it's safe to be in Finland. Some people wouldn't even lock their doors. So, but also from a business standpoint, you would more have it that people usually pay their bills on time. A contract is a contract, and what's written, people actually read every single line. And we say we will deliver it in 14 days, then it should be delivered in 14 days. And people will do that for you, but also expect it in return that everything works. And sometimes I feel like it's almost a little bit too much that it's like if it's 15 days, people become stressed because they're not used to disruption in their very organized life. Well, that's how it is. And for giftwares might be bought in supermarket. We have two big chains, the S Group and Kesko, or the K Group Kesko, and they have enormous supermarkets all over Finland and actually Russia as well. So it's expanding towards that region and the Baltics. That's a place where people would buy giftware and party things and cards, boutiques. very much online. And then department stores, as Stockmann is old department stores, maybe the Harrods of Finland. And then Schothorst belonging to the S Group as well. They have everything. They have hotel chains, petrol stations. They own the country, the S Group, but they also have a department store. And market trends, yes, so very supermarket driven actually with the S Group again and Kesko. So if you get your products into one of either S Group or Kesko, it's quite a big market, even though we only have 5 million people, but then it's more or less covered. But I think that there's a change going on to more towards micro things and small boutiques coming back again, and or that's what I hope for. And so that could be an option as well for international retailers to work with smaller players in cities. And they usually have good websites, so it's a big portal then for the logistics all over the country. And I would say both increase for luxury goods, as Leah said in the beginning, quality is very important, nice design, but also discounter sales. So you have two different kind of groups actually buying then. And market trends, e-commerce, we can't really, the previous presentation here as well, it is growing and it is big.
Is it okay if I just add something?
Yes,
off
please.
Of that? But in both of our markets, it's so incredibly important to invest in having a really great website, which builds off of the previous presentation. Because Scandinavians, both Finland and Sweden, build that trust via the website. So if your website is not designed well and it seems maybe a little bit dodgy or strange, then they'll think like, okay, then this company is also that way. So it's really vitally important to have a great website.
I agree. Yes, definitely. And then secure payment, it could be credit card, PayPal, etc. Fairly priced and quick shipment. There again, the 14 days, that's important in Finland. So the logistics should work. And then prompt answers to feedback. And possibility to return. Most people don't maybe bother then to return, but then just having the option, I think it's good. Well, for the retail sector, there's increasingly relaxed opening hours because it's still quite a regulated market with how shops can be opened and closed. And we have a large number of Russian visitors. And, well, for giftware, yes, and then especially within clothes, kind of the luxury brands, you can really see in Helsinki at the moment that there's areas of big department stores that are, I would say, mostly meant for Russian customers, and many come in and happy to buy plenty and for high prices. And then the Finns, the Finns in the Finnish market would maybe buy one pair of shoes, but the Russian would be happy to buy 10 if they like them. And there's currently many shopping mall or shopping center projects and extension planned in Helsinki and the rest of Finland. So that's growing. And multi-channels, so both online and then having a boutique as well. Or I would agree with Leah here for Finland and Sweden. Generally, the giftware section is less developed than the UK. Greeting cards would mostly be purchased in supermarkets, paper shops, kiosks, and grocery stores. And common to purchase party items in party store shops. One big one is actually a Danish retailer called Tiger. So if you have any party items, I would actually contact the Danish company. They have the headquarters in Denmark, but they also have very good retails. They're really expanding at the moment in Finland. I guess in Sweden as well.
Yep, absolutely. And I think their product ranges change fairly often at the Tiger. So every time you go, there's some new knick-knack or party item, and it's exciting in that way that you never know what you'll find there.
Yeah, and I would say Finns usually have a very positive look to British, UK brands and quality. So it's good with a little Union Jack or made in the UK, made in Britain. That's also very good. And then Giftware, once again, the Prisma and City Market belongs to the Kesko and S group, so many people buy from there. And a little bit of statistics. Finland is part of the Eurozone, so we have the Euro. We haven't been doing as well as Sweden, our bloody neighbors there, but it's quite okay in Finland. I wouldn't say... And you can see tendencies towards actually that the market would be getting better, but still, I mean, in buying bigger things, people might be hesitant, which I think it's quite all over Europe and globally at the moment.